was being advertised, and they showed 3 pictures. First was a man who was running in the desert and fell down, dying of thirst. Second picture, the man was drinking the soft drink. And the third picture, the man was energized and he was running. Great advert. Now here was the problem. After screening the advert in several countries, they went to an Arabic country and screened the same advert. But appreciate, my dear friends, that they read from right to left in that culture. And so in that particular culture, what they read was that the man was running full of energy. Then he got a soft drink, and when he drank it, he collapsed. Tell somebody context. The 6th one is competence. It is here that your speaking skills come in. Let's all say competence. Let's say competence. So if you want to be a great public speaker, the point number 6 is competence. Competence is born out of your capability. If you are capable of something, if you are strong in something, if you are confident in something, then the word competence and confidence, they go together. Someone said, you can never be confident in something in which you are not competent, unless that confidence is the misplaced type. But true confidence is born out of being so good at something that you know you can deliver it. You've done it before and you can do it again. So what do we look for in competence? We look for communication skills, ability to speak, ability to write, relevant gestures, mannerisms, illustrations, even the ability to summarize. Sometimes a person can go on and on and on, and you're like, where exactly is she going? And she's repeating herself over and over. It is said that it is more difficult to give a 5-minute speech than a 1-hour speech. Somebody said, it takes me 1 week to prepare a 5-minute speech and 1 day to prepare a 1-hour speech. Why? Because the shorter the speech, the more you are required to put in to be able to make an impact. One of the greatest speeches of all time was given, the Gettysburg Address. And interestingly, just before Abraham Lincoln arrived to give that address, somebody else who was perceived as an orator with a master's and a world-renowned or world-class reputation in public speaking had spoken before him for 2 hours and had kept the audience spellbound. Then Lincoln arrives. His speech was less than 300 words. He spoke for just over 2 minutes. Until today, that speech is regarded as one of the greatest speeches of all time. And the man who spoke for 2 hours said later that if I ever deceived myself that I made even 1/4 of an impact in 2 hours than he made in 2 minutes, I deceived myself. What was he saying? He was saying that in 2 minutes, the man achieved more than I dared to try in 2 hours. Voice control is important. Know when to go up, when to come down, when to go closer to the audience. These are all dynamics that you must learn. Speech dynamics, coordination. Link one story to another, one point to another. And then there is something called punchlines. Punchlines are lines like, yes, we can. In the speech that President Obama gave that made him one of the most famous speakers currently, he kept stressing his punchline, yes, we can. And the ability to couch a punchline and use it at the right time can make a speech great. Do you also know that Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech is still being quoted till today? In Ghana, at least, if we have nothing, we have the independence of Ghana is meaningless. And people can quote it till today. You have freedom, freedom. And today, you remember Nkrumah for that night preceding the independence celebration in 1957. Great speakers understand punchlines. The final one is the pace or the speed of the speech. Competence means that you must know how to go fast, when to go fast, and then when to slow down. If I came and said, I want to tell you that public speaking is very important, look, somebody will say, but why? What's happening? So take your time. But if I also came and said, you know, public speaking is important, everyone will fall asleep. So there is the correct pace that you need to go up at, and you must vary the pace to keep the audience alive. The seventh one is color, one of my favorites. Color. What is color? Color is the style of the speaker, the symbolism of the speaker. They do their things. The iconography. Every time he's about to speak, when Atiku Okan is about to recite a poem, when he stands on stage, he will do this before he starts. It's iconography. You may not understand it, but he's taking authority in the place. And then he will turn like this, and then he will start the poem. That is his own symbolism. Do you have a personal brand? And I recommend the book Personal Branding for you. Because every speaker must build your own brand. You can't try to speak like somebody else. You may try, but you will have difficulty. You can learn the principle from somebody, but build your own brand. Your style, your own mode of delivery, and build it with confidence so that people know what to expect when you climb up the stage. If I was to go into the area of ministry, there are pastors who preach organized sermons with PowerPoint. And so they move from one point to another and to another. I read about Joel Osteen, who preaches 29 minutes, 30 seconds every Sunday. So I can imagine that if I'm in church and it's the 28th minute, I know it is 1.5 minutes more. On the 29th minute, I start counting and I know in 30 seconds, he will say, thank you and God bless you. Wow, that is somebody. But trust me, that is one side of it. In some other kind of church, you also go and the first 30 minutes, the person is now warming up. And it can be 3 hours, it can be 4 hours, as the Spirit leads. I'm not saying one is right or one is wrong, but those who like that type, they go to that type. Those two who like the organized one to go to the organized one. So I can imagine that if you transpose one person from this audience to that particular audience, you say, but there's chaos here. In the same way, if you transpose somebody who likes this kind of service to this other one, you will say, oh, the Spirit didn't move at all. So everyone knows what they are looking for, and every speaker has a brand. Let's all say color. Number 8 is consistency. Consistency. Great speakers are consistent. Listen to you always and always get a good speech. How do you do it? By standardization. Don't leave it to chance. Speakers don't leave it to chance. People know they can really begin to have a positive expectation as far as you are concerned. They know you would always deliver. The 9th one is critical thinking. That means you must be able to think on your feet. Especially, and make a quick change. He was sorry for him. But that's what happens when you don't have a good memory. Very sensitive, or a situation comes up that is very sensitive. You need to think on your feet.